everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott. It's time for the Almost Friday show for October 18th, 2012.
And off the press this week, Sam and Becky are talking about more Pokemon. That seems to come up a lot.
Yeah, they like Pokemon. So Pokemon Black and White 2 is now out.
Yeah.
And they've been playing it, Becky, for all the time.
Yes. They really do have to catch them all.
Yeah.
Or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So they can tell you about the Pokemon experience.
And in tech this week, we're talking about Microsoft actually releasing pricing and pre-order for the Surface tablet.
Yeah, so we can tell you exactly how much you can pay and what you'll get for your dollar on the Microsoft service. Then we're talking about Xbox releasing their music service. So this is to kind of compete with iTunes a little bit, but it's also streaming.
Yeah, and you're going to be able to get it on more than just Microsoft devices.
Yeah, so it's actually a pretty complete offer. So more details on that later.
And behind the lens this week, we are talking about we're actually reviewing some bags from Amplus. They have sent us some really nice National Geographic Walkabout series bags to show you. They're pretty cool bags if you're looking for something not so traditional. And we'll give you a rundown of some of the series in Behind the Lens.
And without further ado, it's time for Off the Press.
Hey guys, welcome to Off the Press. So welcome to also the Pokemon segment.
Woo!
Pokemon all the time.
All Pokemon, all the time, always.
Mm-hmm. So Black and White 2 is actually out now, since we've been talking about it for 6, 8 months, a year.
Basically since
Black and White came out.
Yeah.
But now we actually own it, which is exciting. And I have played it a decent amount.
And I have barely started. I got about 2 hours into it.
I've got 5 badges. You should be proud of me.
I am just about to face a second.
Also, 28 of those medal things that they just
achievement
invented.
Points?
The achievements that they introduced.
Yeah.
Okay, so breakdown. Pokemon Black and White 2, as we all know, is a plot continuation from Black and White.
It's the first direct sequel.
Yep, which is fun.
And they remind you that pretty
a lot.
often.
Very specifically. This plot line picks up 2 years after the ending of the previous one, and they talk about it all the time.
All the time. Oh my god, Sharon, I haven't seen you in 2 years. Oh, Bianca, it's been 2 years.
As a gym leader, I haven't been able to go all out in my Pokemon battle since I can't remember when. Oh wait, I can. It's been 2 years.
Wow, it's been 2 years since I've given Pokemon to young trainers.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. So there's that.
But despite that, it's adorable. And the achievement thing, it's in every other game, so it might as well be in Pokemon. And I'm not going to lie, it's addicting.
It is.
Plus, they do this thing where the guy who hangs out in the Poke Center is like, here's little hint medals. I'll tell you how you could get the medals you don't already have. And you're like, oh. And then you save 16 times in 10 minutes to get a medal. And then you do those things.
And then you buy 10 Pokeballs when you really have no business to be buying 10 Pokeballs. But, you do it anyway for the achievements.
And then you sell them back at half price.
Yeah, because you can buy Great Balls in the next town. Yeah.
But it's still a lot of fun. Overall, we found that the game is a little more difficult. This is used in a loose way, because it's not like Pokemon's hard.
No.
But it is slightly more challenging. They've rebalanced a lot of the Pokemon, and they introduce the multiple types of battling more frequently.
Yeah.
Especially with the ace trainers who hang around. They don't tell you beforehand. Just all of a sudden you're in a 3-way Pokemon battle. Or a rotation battle.
And rotation battles.
I know, right?
They're annoying.
Yeah. But it's a lot more interesting that way. And then as a result, they've included challenge mode and easy mode. And how do you get those?
To get challenge mode, you play through Black, so once you beat the champion, you unlock it. To get easy mode, you do that in White, and the modes can be traded or transferred to your friends via the IR.
So you really only need to have 2 really quick friends.
Basically, yes.
And then you're set from there.
If you're 6 years old, you get an older friend to beat Pokemon White for you, and then you get the easy thing. And if you're older than 10... you get one of your friends to beat Black and play challenge mode and give that one to you.
Yep. So overall, it's exactly what we wanted.
Exactly.
It's pretty fun.
Everything we wanted. So with this Pokemon release also came the release of a minigame, an app. Not really sure what to call it.
I don't know. It's I'd call it an app because it's like an AR app.
Kind of like the Pokewalker, but you have to pay for it, and it's in your 3DS.
Yeah. And to be fair, in addition to having to pay for it, it does look better. The Pokewalker, you put it on your shoe, you walked around, and you played with it sometimes. This is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it's in your 3DS. When you turn on your 3DS, I think I'll play this game. But what we're talking about is the Pokemon Dream Radar. Basically, remember the Dream World thing? Yeah. It's like that, except now instead of going into the dream world, you can find dream world stuff from the regular world. It's like the Face Raiders game that's built into the 3DS, where it's kind of annoying, but it's kind of cool. It makes you use the camera. You have to like swing around and shoot things. Basically, you're just mashing A. It's kind of annoying sometimes because sometimes it makes you spin all the way around. So I would not recommend playing this in public.
But you've gotten some cool Pokemon
Yes.
out of it.
Oh my, yes. The main goal of this is to catch the I think they're called the weather Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
so-
based on weather. Even if that's not
Yeah.
what they're called, it's what they are.
It's the weather trio. I think that's what they're actually called. It's to catch their alternate forms.
Yeah.
So at level 5, I caught Thunderous's form. I don't even know what it's called.
He's the one who keeps the other one in line. I remember that from the mythology.
There we go. So I got him at level 5, so that means he is permanently in my party, kicking ass.
Pretty much forever.
Pretty much forever. You can also get cool items. I got some revives, also a really early level, which is super useful for the first gym leader.
Yeah.
Like potions, shards, and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, just regular Pokemon like Railu and Muna, and there's a lot of Sigilyph. Like I have like 6 of them.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Because those are harder to find in game.
They
You have to
are.
wander around the desert a lot to find those.
And I can only assume that the Pokemon show up in your game at appropriate levels.
Yeah, but you can just catch them whatever.
Yeah, just catch them whenever.
So that's pretty cool. And how much was that?
It came to like 3 something with tax. So
Oh, that's
360 something with tax.
Perfectly reasonable.
Canadian dollars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever, you Americans.
Yeah. There's also the Pokedex 3D Pro.
It's a little too pricey for us.
It's $15. Not happening. Sorry.
Not a thing.
It looks cool, but not for $15. Yeah.
So moving on from things that we're excited to have happen to things we are excited that are going to happen.
Woo.
So, as you know, we get really excited about 2 things on the show pretty much, which are Pokemon and Adventure Time.
Yes.
Because Adventure Time is very exciting. And so we've already discussed how excited I am about the Adventure Time comic and the Marceline and the Scream Queens comic short, which is at issue 4 right now and is amazing. Go buy it. They're releasing another mini issue.
Yay.
So basically, in my top 5 favorite Adventure Time episodes, there's the gender swap episode
Yes.
with Cake and Fiona instead of Finn and Jake. And so Natasha Allegri, who is the original conceiver of the gender bend, she basically did it all as fan art on her own time when she was doing storyboard and animation work in the early seasons. And now they're giving her a 6-issue comic, which is
Yay.
fantastic. And she's going to draw it. And
Ooh, that's
isn't that
fantastic.
amazing?
Right.
I think someone else is writing it.
Okay.
I'm not absolutely positive. There's not a ton of confirmed stuff, except that she's the artist.
Was this announced
But
at
that's
New
super
York
exciting.
Comic Con this week?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah,
They did.
alright.
They did hand that out, and then it
Yeah.
kind of hit. It hit Tumblr and Twitter before it hit any main sites, which is
Makes
interesting.
sense, because you're standing on the show floor, like, OMG.
Yeah. Plus, Natasha has her own Tumblr, and it's basically where she does all her stuff. Period.
Yeah.
Which is probably the only reason the gender bend came around was because of how popular it was on the Tumblr sphere.
That is one of the
So-
best episodes. So.
Yep, it is one of the best.
One of the best.
What
It's-
was missing is a really good one too. I'm a huge fan of that one.
Also coming out of New York Comic Con, Greg Clark, I believe his name is, who played Coulson in the Avengers. He's gonna be back in the Avengers TV show, or the Shield TV show.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, which is cool, but also like he died.
Yeah, I think it's the thing about the TV show, from what I've been reading about it, is that it's set pre-Avengers.
Yeah, that's what most people seem to think. There's very, very little news that comes out about this. Basically, there was an Avengers panel at New York Comic Con, and Joss Whedon and another big Marvel dude.
I unfortunately can't help
I
it.
have no idea what his name is. A big Marvel dude they were Skyped in. One of them wearing a Coulson Lives shirt.
Nice.
And they said that Greg Clark will indeed be cast in the new Shield TV show.
Yeah, which is very exciting.
Which is
I
cool.
think that doing S.H.I.E.L.D. as a TV show is a really good idea.
Oh yeah, totally.
It can be basically its own continuity
Yeah.
because it will be really light on the superhero side of things. Because S.H.I.E.L.D. is big in and of itself. If you
Yeah,
ask any
exactly.
actual Marvel fan,
They have their fingers in everything.
it's very
Yes.
important. So I think it'll be a cool show, and all the people who are really sad, including me, that Coulson died, can live on in a while. And if they decide,
Yeah.
they can maybe
He's a clone.
stick the Avengers in between seasons 2.
Coulson's a clone. This is how they introduce the Skrulls.
Lol.
Whoa.
Lol. Oh, that'd be awful.
That would.
Oh, I really hope they don't do that.
We're,
Oh.
we're gonna show S.H.I.E.L.D. for 10 seasons and then reveal that he was a clone all along.
Oh no.
Next to Mephisto.
That
That was too easy. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, they did that to Tony Stark too, and I was so sad.
And Spider-Man.
And everybody.
And Thor.
Please don't do it again. Don't do it again. I beg of you. My heart can't take it. Oh.
Yep.
Oh. So on that note, new releases coming out this week in theaters. The only one coming out on the big screen that we care about is Paranormal Activity 4. I haven't seen
Nope.
any of them because I like to sleep.
And I'm gonna nope the hell out of that theater.
Yep.
Yep.
But if you like really scary things, these are apparently really scary, so you can go see that. And then out on DVD and Blu-ray.
Moonrise Kingdom, which you're really excited about.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters. It just kind of
It
slipped
wasn't
through my
yeah, it was in
fingers.
theaters for not very long.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
it had a very limited release, but it's a Wes Anderson film, and all his films are delightful.
They're quirky.
Fantastic Mr. Fox is
Yes,
lovely.
that-
I really enjoyed that. So
I
I'm
think
probably just going to pick it up.
I think that's
blind.
the only one I've seen of his movies that
Yeah?
I've enjoyed.
Should go back.
I might not. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's also Madagascar 3.
Europe's Most Wanted, which is kind of on the opposite side. I haven't seen it. I don't
What?
know.
You
I
were
haven't.
all pumped about it.
I was pumped about the idea of it, and then I realized I'd have to like pay money to go see it in the
Yeah,
theater,
forget
and I
that.
was a little adverse.
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half and like $10 you'll never get back.
Yeah, pretty much.
More than
I'll watch it,
$10.
and then I'll tell you about it. But yeah, da, 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 circus. I knew the joke. I couldn't go pay to go see the movie. I knew the funniest joke already.
It's true.
So, yeah. And that's it for this week.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insight. We're starting off with some Microsoft news. And the Surface tablet has now been officially announced with pricing and pre-order availability.
Yes, so if you liked the Microsoft Service announcement, you're pretty excited, you want to know what that's going to cost you. They're selling it in 2 models, the 32 gig and the 64 gig. 32 gigs is $519.99, so that's the same price as a 16 gig iPad.
Okay.
And the 64 gig is $619.99. Now those are without the fancy covers.
Yes.
So if you wanted
Keep
that,
in mind these covers are the ones that are keyboards as well.
yeah. So the covers are kind of the big sell here.
Yeah.
So $519.99 for the 32 gig beats the iPad by itself. Now the touch cover in black is $100, which is reasonable
When you get it with the tablet.
all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that for black.
Okay.
Now if you want the other colors, which is white and cyan, they're $129.
That's stupid that you have to pay
it
more for
is.
colors.
A lot of times you have to pay up just for like red. I
Yeah.
paid an extra $50 to get my netbook red.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's if you want to pay up for that. To be honest, the tablets are all one color. There's no white tablet, so
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd want cyan, but whatever. And if you want the advanced touch, the not touch cover, the one with the chiclet
click,
keyboard,
yes, the chiclet keyboard.
that's only $139
Which isn't bad when you consider that for $10 less, you just get the normal one in a color.
in a color. Yeah.
So
That looks like, to be honest, that's a pretty good deal.
yeah.
I think the keyboard is priced really well compared to if you want to buy a keyboard, say, for your iPad. And I'm sure there can be other third-party covers. Also, compared to just the iPad cover,
Yeah.
it's $40 for the normal one.
$50 for the normal one and $70 for the leather one.
Yeah, so if you buy a keyboard one for $30 more.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to buy a cover for your tablet no matter what, it seems. So prices seem reasonable. If you want to talk apples to apples, it does beat the iPad, but we'll have to wait and see on how it performs and things like that. You can pre-order now on Microsoft's...
Apparently Microsoft has closed down their pre-orders because they've sold too many.
Oh, really?
That's what I had heard on Twitter today.
Well, you were able to pre-order, at
And I'm
least.
not sure that's maybe not accurate, but that's what I was reading.
Who knows?
Is that Microsoft's like, whoa, we sold too many.
That would be a smart play instead of what Apple has done with the iPhone 5 and just tell you that you're on a waiting list.
Yeah, but that's how they do all their products, and it seems to still sell. So, I mean, can't blame them for being like, we're going to sell more than we make and just make you wait. And you're not gonna,
Months on end,
and you're
yeah.
still going to just buy it anyways.
So I think it's pretty good. I'm curious to see hands-on reviews and stuff like that before I...
You know, the other thing we talked about, too, was space, because you sort of got the impression from what you had read that Windows 8 RT is actually probably going to take up a fairly large chunk of,
Yes, so there was
of the space.
There were some rumors going around that out of that 32 gigs of space, you might only get mid to high 20s. available. Now, that's completely rumors. We really don't know. That's what people were guessing.
And I'm hoping it's not true, because if Windows 8 RT was like 5 to 8 gigabytes of operating system on a tablet, that seems very bloated.
Yeah.
Considering that if you look at like a phone, the iOS phone, it's about 2 gigabytes.
Or if you look at an entire version of Windows 7,
yes.
which does a lot more than the RT does, that's only like 5 to 6 gigs.
Yeah.
So,
And if this was like 10 for the, or like 5 gigs for the RT, I'm worried of what full blown Windows is going to be.
So I wouldn't count on those rumors.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully you'll be looking at like 29, 30 gigs available, which is perfectly reasonable. To accompany that tablet that you may have pre-ordered is Xbox's new music service.
Yes.
The long-awaited music service, been rumored here and there. So Zoom Music is gone. Thank God. Because that was just horrible. And they're kind of pushing Xbox as their media brand now. So gaming, music, movies all wrapped into one.
Yep.
Going forward with this whole Microsoft branding themselves properly for the first time in 20 years. So if you want to try out the Microsoft Music Service and you have an Xbox 360, you can do it now. It shipped last week. However, it is not a free service on the Xbox.
Yeah, which is kind of weird, and we were talking about this. If you go out and buy a PC, you can get this service for free.
Once Windows 8 comes out.
Yes.
Yes.
Which, arguably, Microsoft doesn't make a whole lot of money on Windows licenses. But if you go and buy an Xbox 360 and then go and spend the additional money you need for an Xbox Gold subscription, because it's a requirement of actually then paying more for this service, you then also have to pay more for that.
Yes.
Which seems like Xbox is just be like, and pay, and pay, and pay. And
Yeah.
so, I don't know.
So it's a little misleading. So here's how the what do I have to pay if I want this breaks down. So if you want to use it on your Xbox, you have to be a gold member, first of all, which, as we discussed and have complained about before, do you have to do anything on an Xbox?
Yeah, you want Netflix, you want to use Internet Explorer with the new updates.
You need to be gold.
You want to do anything other than pretty much play games.
Yeah.
But
if you want to play those online,
yeah, you gotta be gold.
yeah.
So
make sure you're a gold member. Next up, you can do a 30-day free trial, but after that, you're done, and you cannot sign up for that trial ever again.
Yeah.
With your account. But the costing's not bad.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to use it over multiple devices. So it's $9.99 a month.
Or $100 for the year.
Yeah. Now the $100 for the year sounds really cheap because if you exclude the gold cost.
Yeah.
$100 a year is something you would just kind of forget you've paid.
Yeah.
So if you pay that, you can use it on your Xbox. Now the only downside is it gives you full streaming. You can pick your artist and stream. You can select a song to stream. You can do smart playlists, all kind of cool features like that. You cannot stream while doing anything else on the Xbox.
Oh, really?
Yes. So you can only...
So you can't rock an Xbox Music playlist while going and playing some Call of Duty.
Now I'm hoping
That's
that comes in an
disappointing.
update.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge missed opportunity.
Because, our bandwidth is good enough now to be able to play Call of Duty and stream music.
And you
let's
know what?
Be honest.
I think that would be a really easy way to sell it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like to listen to... Especially if you're playing by yourself online at home.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to listen to music while they play. And if they could do that in their Xbox and streaming so they can kind of have a big selection, I think that'd be a huge sell. So hopefully they'll come in an update. Now, if you don't specifically want to use it on your Xbox, you can use it on your Windows 8 PC or tablet after the 26th, after it comes out, for free, but it's ad-supported. Mm-hmm. Now, you can also pay up. So if you're already paying to use it on your Xbox, that gives you an advantage on the PC as well because you can actually download to keep.
Yeah, so the advantage of this over the Zoom Pass is the Zoom Pass allowed you to download, I think it was 10 songs a month, if I remember correctly.
Something
like that.
Yeah.
And so now, as far as we can tell, the downloads are now unlimited. So you could go download crazy and, amass a giant library if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't really put any specifics about that in their press release.
I got to imagine there's some sort of limitation somewhere.
But
Otherwise,
to be honest,
you'd sign up for like a couple of months, download every song you could possibly want, and then cancel your service.
But even if it is limited to, say, 20 songs a month,
still pretty decent.
that's still not bad.
Yeah.
20 songs for $10.
Well, that's an album and a half.
Yeah.
For less than the cost of an album.
Or if you're on the yearly, it's even less. So that's not too terrible. Also, that free streaming is unlimited time-wise for 6 months.
Okay.
Then you're time limited, like most other free streaming services. However, again, they didn't specify that. So it'll probably be something comparable to like a Spotify or a Pandora. Next up, Windows Phone 8 is coming. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
There's
October
no news.
26th?
Well, no, because when Windows Phone 8 ships, it will not have Xbox Music.
Oh, okay.
It's coming at a later date. They said a little bit later, so probably
And-
a week or two after that comes.
Yeah, and there's been some strong rumors that this service will also hopefully end up on iOS and Android,
Yes.
which really is what Microsoft needs to do if they want to be competitive in the market, because Windows Phone 8 is nice, but there are far more Android and iOS
Yeah.
devices out there.
So here's the thing: is I think if they push this onto iOS and Android, or even just iOS,
Yeah.
that makes it most people will have two devices,
Yes.
which makes the streaming service very attractive.
Yeah.
If I can use it on my Xbox and my PC, or my Xbox and my iPhone, or my iPad and my PC,
Yeah.
that makes it a little easier to swallow, and it's relatively cheap. And they've got a big library, because this is the same library they had for Zune, right?
Yeah.
Microsoft's been selling music for quite some time. Now, it's not quite the iTunes library.
Yeah, they're boasting 18 million tracks right now.
For US,
Yes.
30 million worldwide.
Yeah.
There's obviously regional differences and things like that. But it
Like
is
iTunes,
streaming, which
yes.
iTunes does not have yet.
Correct. Unless
so-
you're using a computer. An iTunes Match.
That's still not streaming.
You're right, because
You
you have
download
to
them.
have songs, yes.
Yeah, it's not the same.
No.
So I think it looks like a decent service. Hopefully they'll allow us to game and stream music at the same time. This is ridiculous. That makes me not
Damn
want
it,
to use it on my
Xbox, give us our streaming and
because
gaming.
otherwise I'll just use it on anything else and put speakers on.
That's just what they want you to do.
Next up, talk about home theaters. We talk about a lot of home theater boxes. We're big home theater guys.
Yes. And for a long time, we've liked Boxee Box, but found it was too expensive.
And looked stupid.
Yeah, being a diamond in a rock face is not good when all of your other boxes in your home theater are rectangular.
Yeah.
So Boxee has updated or added a new model to their lineup, which is rectangular and half the price, which now puts it in the same ballpark as an Apple TV and Roku players, which we both like as alternative options.
And some of the upcoming Google TV boxes for people like Sony.
Yeah.
So at first I was very excited. I saw $100. I saw Boxee, and I was like, sold. Then I read more about what they did.
Yeah, so it seems that they've taken a lot of the Boxee functionality and stripped it back. Now, it's important to note that the most important thing, local streaming, is still there.
Yeah.
And that's what we like the Boxee Box for, because it has one of the best supports in terms of all the file formats it can play.
So you can still stream pretty much anything you can think of from your PC, from your Mac. You can still plug in USB hard drives, USB sticks, and stream from that. So all that kind of streaming locally functionality is still there. What they've really stripped back is the apps. So Boxee's had a large repository of apps. Everyone and their best friend had an app. Twit had an app, and Revision 3 had an app, and there were people custom-made apps for like ABC streaming and CTV streaming and Discovery and things like that. You're not allowed to install out of that repository on this new box. It's limited. Now, I'll tell you the reason in a few seconds. It's limited to things like Netflix, Vimeo, Vudu, Pandora, YouTube. So the big ones.
Yes, because, if it didn't have Vimeo and YouTube and Pandora, people would be upset.
Absolutely. Now, the reason they did that, the reason for the change is for the first time, this will now incorporate television, live television,
Sort of.
into the Boxee aspect. So you can watch TV in Boxee. So they figured if you're going to also watch TV and have a programming guide, they wanted to limit the other interfacing.
Yeah.
So that's why they reduced the apps. Now, the downside is how they've implemented this live television.
Yeah, so with this, you can only use basic cable or HD over the air, which if you're in Ottawa like us, limits you to maybe 20 channels at best. If you're in the States, you can get better, up to 50 channels, but you are not going to get support from any of your cable providers to get all of those channels.
Yeah, so the big thing here is they left out cable card. Now, up here, that means nothing.
Yes.
But in the States, that means everything, because you can buy a cable card. You have to be able to buy them from your provider. It's mandated by law. You pop that in, and it turns into a cable box from your company. So I think that's a big loss, because a lot of people have cable.
It's true.
Or satellite or whatever. So this limits you to, if you have satellite, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Because you need a box. So the only thing you can use on this is basic cable, or like you said, over-the-air HD. And that's for the viewing experience. So that's a big limiting factor. The next thing is they decided to throw in DVR functionality.
But it gets a bit weird.
Yeah, so DVR is a good word. Lots of people love their DVRs, even if it's limited channels. Most people record stuff off network television, so we can get all those over the air. But No local storage for your DVR.
Yeah, you'd expect that you'd plug in a hard drive and it would save those over-the-air channels right to your hard drive that you could watch them later. Not so much.
No, so this is what they're calling the cloud DVR. At first glance, that sounds awesome, but then you think about it.
Well, cloud gets put in front of everything, and
Yeah.
we've often found that it doesn't make things awesome.
It's not free. It's $15 a month,
Which is kind of steep.
which is steep.
For service you're getting for free.
For a service you could go buy one hard drive for.
Yes.
And what that does is gives you unlimited cloud DVR storage. So if you set to record, Castle on Mondays, it'll record, take it into your box, and put it to the cloud through your own internet connection.
Yeah, see, initially it seems awesome because they use the word unlimited, but then when you realize that you have to take a bunch of shows you want to watch and upload them with your bandwidth to the cloud, and then download them from the cloud with your bandwidth again, it starts to stack up.
Yeah, not to mention because that's just redundant. But the big thing is it's in the cloud, so I can now access it from an app on my iPad or from a computer at work. Well, if I'm watching this on the bus, I don't want to use up all my mobile bandwidth to watch one show.
Yeah.
These aren't going to... And it's either they're going to be high bandwidth, high quality, or garbage that you don't want to watch.
It's true.
So I just think this is too soon.
Well, and the problem is that, like you were saying, you're either going to watch it at really high quality, but then you're going to use a lot of bandwidth, or the alternative is it's not going to look good. And if it's not going to look good, you might as well just go get the NBC and the PBS and the CTV and all those apps
And stream
that
it.
allow you to stream
Yeah.
most of the shows anyways.
Absolutely.
And if you're caught up, most of these things will do a back issue of, 3 to 5 episodes. So really that's kind of the better DVR solution if you're going to watch it mobily.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to watch it at home, it just seems crazy to take the bandwidth to put it up and then the bandwidth to bring it down again because it's coming from the same device.
Yeah. It seems a little... I like the idea behind it, but I don't like that it's being enforced upon you.
I'm just tired of companies going, the cloud is the best option when the infrastructure isn't really there to support it.
Because right now, to be honest, the only thing the cloud is the best option for right now is limited file sharing between devices.
Yeah. and music to some extent.
Yeah, that's getting better.
Because you and I have crazy iTunes libraries, but the average person
Does
doesn't.
not, yes.
So-
Which is probably why I've resisted moving over to something like streaming. But if you just want a basic streamer with Netflix for $100, you're going to get a good product. Boxee makes good software, and I think they partnered again with D-Link to make this.
Yeah, I think the best thing to say about this is that we've always liked the Boxee as an option because of its compatibility. We never liked it because of its price point, because with a hacked Apple TV, we could do a lot of the same stuff. And, even if we spent a little bit of extra time, do a lot of the same stuff with a regular Apple TV for $100 less.
Yeah.
So now you're going to get the functionality we really liked out of the Boxee if you don't mind losing the apps, which to most people probably won't matter because you're going to stream stuff off your computer and watch Netflix.
Yeah. So I think it's a decent box for $100 if you don't want to use the DVR functionality. Plus, if you have over the air like me, and that's my only version, it'd be nice to just switch over to watching TV and not change devices. That'd be an okay thing to do, and it has a nice built-in channel server.
Yeah.
It'll show you all the programming and stuff.
Which is good if you're running HD over the air because you don't have that.
Yeah, you get the very limited. You can surf each channel 2 hours ahead and whatever, but then you can change channels and do it all over again. So. Mixed reviews. Boxee, if you put a cable card in it and said we could use an external hard drive.
Yeah.
And the external hard drive thing I'm hoping will come maybe in a software update.
Hopefully.
When they see that no one's paying for their DVR service.
And finally, our last bit of news. If you're waiting for an iPad mini, it's probably coming, which really kind of surprises all of us.
Does it, though?
I don't know. I really felt like Apple was going to resist this trend. And then, Steve Jobs died, so they said, we could do it now, guys.
Because Apple goes, we could make a lot of money there. Let's just do it.
I don't know.
So Tuesday the 23rd, they're having an event. They've got a little more to show us.
Yeah, so the rumors are iPad mini, which is the very strong one and most likely the main feature of said thing.
Yep.
And then also possibly updates to the iMac, the Mac mini, and possibly maybe the Mac Pro, but we've kind of been hinted that the Mac Pro is not coming until
I wouldn't
next
count
year.
on it. Also, look for a 13-inch Retina MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
So the big ones would be the 13-inch Retina, the new Mac Minis, new iMacs.
Yeah.
Possibly. Although I don't think big changes on either of those.
And then, of course,
the
star being the
iPad.
iPad mini.
Which apparently is going to come in different colors.
Well, no, I heard it was just going to be black and white.
Well, that's different colors.
I suppose.
There's
Well, there's a white iPad, sort of.
12 to 20 SKUs for this.
Yeah, but that's because there's 4 different sizes of hard drive, and then LTE, 4G, 3G, Wi-Fi, SquidgeBob, and
Yeah, Apple's going down the hill a little bit here.
Bill's TV tuner antenna attachment.
Hopefully it's cheap.
Because if it's not, I don't know, like
The thing is,
Kindle Fire,
if they neuter it too much and don't give enough spec, then it won't. Then the Nexus 7 is the obvious choice.
yeah,
But if
or Kindle Fire.
I think the Nexus 7 is better.
Okay,
Yeah, the Kindle Fire has Amazon's whole thing going on, but
not so good.
we
here in
can't even
Canada.
buy those.
Yes.
So
All right, well that wraps it up for Tech Insight for this week.
welcome to Behind the Lens for this week. There was a small new camera kind of announced this week, a little bit different than the announcement we've been talking about for quite a while.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say a lot more exciting.
it's true. So GoPro announced the Hero 3. We've been using GoPros for a while. We love them. Everyone uses GoPros. They all love them. It is undeniably the choice for action camera. And it's been the choice because it's been a very well-spec'd device. And now they've just gone and blown the doors off of everybody else. Because the new Hero 3 comes in 3 editions. There's a silver, a gold, and a black edition.
I believe.
But what I want to talk about is the black edition because the thing shoots 4K.
Yeah.
It's this big, and it shoots 4K. Now, it does shoot 4K at 15 frames per second, which arguably is hard to use for pretty much anything except for, doing some freezing or something. But it shoots 2.7K, which is still extremely high at 30 frames per second and 24 frames per second, which are completely usable frame rates
Absolutely.
for everything. So the new camera boasts a lot of changes. It is 30% smaller. It is 25% lighter. It is apparently 2 times better in low light. I don't really know what that means in comparison to the Hero 2, which was already better than the Hero 1. It's also twice as fast for video performance. It's got a new lens that's apparently sharper. They've gone to a flat front element so that you don't get the underwater problems that a lot of people were facing, where things were sort of soft around the edges and stuff like that. Yeah. They released a casing for the Hero 2 to solve that, but they just built the Hero 3 to solve it from the get-go, which is nice. There's a new audio system for it. But the really cool thing is that the Wi-Fi is now built in.
On all the models.
Yes. So whether you're paying $200 for the silver or $400 for the black, you get the Wi-Fi. And when you get the black, you also get the remote included, which allows you to remotely start and stop it. But what's cool is that they have their app for iOS that allows you to remotely monitor and switch between multiple cameras if you have them, as well as doing start, stop, and all that kind of stuff.
Which is pretty freaking sweet.
So it's pretty cool that they've put all of that in while also making the camera about half the width that it was.
Yeah, it's quite small now. So if you ever put off, because I know the original GoPro, say, or even the Hero 2 with the waterproof casing on it,
Yeah.
it's a little bit chunky.
I mean,
still wearable, and
yes,
for sure. But
especially if you had it on a helmet or something,
Yeah.
you'd kind of feel that weight as you move it around. So
But-
not only is it smaller, but it's also lighter.
yeah, if you look at it with the waterproof case on,
Yeah.
it looks about the size of the Hero 2 without it.
Yes.
Like it's really good.
So it's pretty cool, but really the important thing here is the specifications for all the frame rates, because they have just gone and jam-packed this thing with a bunch of frame rates. So you got 4K, you got 2.7K, you got 1080p at 60, 48, 30, and 24 frames per second, switchable. You've got 1440, which is like a halfway point between 1080 and 720, again at 48, 30, and 24 frames per second. You've got 960p, which is slightly better than 720 at 100 frames per second,
Yeah.
which is pretty good if you want to slow stuff down. But the big one's going to be 720p at 120 frames per second, which is pretty cool. And if you really need to slow things down, you can shoot in WVGA, which is slightly better than, it's like a widescreen 480,
Yeah.
and it'll shoot at 240 frames per second, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So needless to say, there is a slew of sizing and frame rates to choose from with this guy. As well, the Hero 2 received its Pro Tune update this week, and Pro Tune added Technicolor SynStyle coloring, as well as new 35 megabit recording for higher quality, and some better options in relation to photos. But this allows that Pro Tune to be used on pretty much all the modes, but it also allows it to simultaneously take photos while shooting some of this video, which is pretty cool as well. It's now a 12 megapixel sensor instead of 11. It has a variety of different time-lapse modes, which are mostly the same, but it also now has a 3, 5, and 10 second 10 shots per second mode, as well as a 30-second one burst mode, which is pretty awesome for slowing down that jump or whatever. So overall, it's a pretty awesome update. Now, the one caveat is they did have to switch from standard SD cards to micro SD cards because it's smaller and they just can't fit it all in.
However, it does support the micro XD standards. You can get cards up to 64 gigs.
And then 64 gigs are available in an ultra high speed 1 specification because you need a class 10 minimum to work with this camera at the frame sizes and bit rates. However, at least in the States, you can pick up a 64 gig UHS 1 XD card for like $80, which is pretty awesome.
That's really not that bad.
Yeah. We're probably, we're showing some footage here that GoPro has, put into their demo video, but I highly recommend you go and check out the actual demo video because it's 5 minutes of pure awesome that never once tells you any features, but you want to buy the camera anyways.
And like we discussed before, by far the best camera advertisement video we have seen to date.
Yeah, because it's just like, all of this looks awesome and I want it in my life.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, and it's that little $400 camera. Sold.
Which is $400. It's so well priced.
It makes you want to have 5 of them.
Which people will.
Yeah.
I love the shots where they go like this because they use a bar of like 10 of them and then they just film them all together and just jump frames. It's the coolest thing ever. And it's only possible because this camera is so small.
Yeah. So if you do any adventuring at all and you like the previous GoPros, or you were looking at something like a Contour or JVC's bad attempt at it,
just
Sony's
don't do it. Buy a GoPro.
Yeah.
Way more accessories, way better features.
And if you're thinking about one now, wait for the Hero 3 because it's going to be worth the wait.
Absolutely. But moving on, we're going to talk about some really awesome National Geographic bags that Amplus was very kind enough to send us. We've got 3 of them to talk about. 2 of them are brothers, and then we've got the satchel bag. So this is the medium rucksack. This is the small rucksack, and this is the medium satchel bag. So this is the Walkabout series. National Geographic has 3 series. They've got their Africa, their Earth Explorer, and their Walkabouts. I've had a Walkabout shoulder bag for a little over a year now, and I really like it. It's a very cool looking bag. It doesn't look like a camera bag. It's pretty comfortable to wear, all that kind of stuff. What I like about these guys is they've done an update to the styling. They're using these new sort of leather flaps. They've added more pockets, that sort of stuff. And on the inside of all, these are really cool looking maps, which really won't help you if you get lost anywhere.
No, but very National Geographic themed.
Yeah,
Yes.
Which is cool because they had something like this in the Earth Explorer, and then they didn't have it in the Walkabout, and so now they've sort of updated it with that gray look, which is pretty cool. I'll start by talking about the bigger brother of the rucksacks. So with this guy here, you've got your front pockets up here, which are good for holding extra batteries, memory cards, all that kind of stuff. I have this loaded with some of my Micro Four Thirds gear, which it should be noted that for the size of the bag, this will hold a pretty good amount of mirrorless camera gear and a decent amount of sort of travel gear if you're using a smaller entry level or mid-range DSLR. So in the middle section here, you've got your standard camera compartment. I don't have a camera in here right now, but it'll hold a variety of lenses if you're using Micro Four Thirds or a traditional SLR with, say, 2 or 3 extra lenses and a flash, perhaps. Now, I can get my Olympus OMD with a grip in here just barely, which means that if you are using a traditional SLR, even an entry level that has a grip available, it's not going to fit.
You have to take the grip off.
They do have to take the grip off. Now, one of the things that I hope that National Geographic looks at is that the padding on the inside here, although you can remove the interior dividers, all of the outside walls have very specific areas where you can apply dividers, so you can't really custom build this for a shape.
So you can either have the dividers or not, but you can't really move them around.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you want the camera with one larger lens in the middle, you can do that, or if you need a large lens down the side, you can do that. But if you want to add more dividers or, completely change the orientation of stuff, you can't. And that's a little disappointing for me because I like having the flexibility to move stuff around because not everyone has the same amount of gear and it doesn't all take up the same shape. Yeah. But if you're okay with the setup, which a lot of people will because it's designed for a couple lenses and a camera, it's more than sufficient to hold that gear. What's nice really is that these bags really don't look like camera bags. They've got that sort of almost hipster travel feel to them. So, you know, if you were going out on the streets or traveling with them, they're not going to immediately draw attention of this guy is carrying around camera gear, which is nice. Up top, they use this two-stage part, so you've got a second access to larger pockets for sort of throwing in all your miscellaneous bits and stuff like that. I find this a bit weird, only because I wish the pocket was just up
there.
front.
Yeah.
I kind of get what they're getting at, though, because, again, they expect people to travel, so because you have to make noise to open this up, you'd notice if someone was getting at it. But it doesn't really make sense in this first pocket because there's nothing here.
There. Yeah.
So it's like this one should have just stayed as it is, and then they leave this one with the Velcro.
Or put a pocket in here, because why not?
Yeah, because why not? Yeah. Exactly. But if you are traveling, again, what's nice about this guy, which not all camera bags have, is that the top portion is, get some of my other bags out of the way. The top portion is basically sort of a day sack area where you could throw in a light sweater or a water bottle, that kind of stuff. You've got side access pockets here, which you can fold the pocket in and attach a tripod using the strap if you want to. And the back is your standard sort of ergonomic design. You've got that breathable back with the sort of spacing to let air in. They've also added these little toggles, which are a nice touch because you can attach a camera strap to these if you want to support the camera with the weight of the bag as opposed to also around your shoulder. And no good bag is without its laptop compartment at the top. So this guy will support up to a 15-inch laptop. If you want a 17, you're out of luck with these guys. But again, it's a pretty low-profile bag. It's not very thick across the side, and it's not very tall. So in terms of actually having to move around with the bag, you're not going to be smashing stuff as you turn around and all that kind of stuff. So overall, I really love the aesthetics of them. It's really a bag that you could take around with you, and even if you didn't have camera gear and you just took out all these dividers,
It's still a perfectly good bag.
it's still a good-looking
for
bag.
Sure.
You could hold your laptop and that sort of stuff for traveling. So that's the medium rucksack. I won't go over the small rucksack because it's basically the same thing, but in
Very
smaller
similar,
proportions.
but smaller, yeah.
Yeah, so you got a little bit less space up front. You still have the pockets, but a little bit less space. And it's a 13-inch laptop compartment in the back if you want to put a MacBook Air or a small MacBook Pro or something like that. So we'll talk briefly about the satchel bag. Now this guy, they have an optional shoulder pad. And this is a little bit disappointing for me because the shoulder pad's like $20 to buy it, but this bag retails for like $250-ish.
Not to mention what bags that if you're gonna put anything of substance in the bag, you're gonna want a shoulder pad.
Yeah, and I really feel like at the price point that these bags come at, I would have liked to have seen the shoulder pad included.
Absolutely.
However, at least it's there as an option, and it is nice and padded and fairly comfortable. So again, this one uses that same two-piece system. To put something up front. What's kind of nice about this guy is that if you had a small tripod, you could use this area to keep your tripod in place if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. It's not specifically designed for it. It's just something that I thought about. They've also designed these bags with a space in the back to slide over a handle if you've got carry luggage. So the idea is that when you're going through airports and stuff like that, you can just sit this on top of your carry luggage and move it all in one piece, which is nice. Again, on the inside, we've got that map detail. This one here is designed for, I have to double check what the laptop size. It's either a 15 or a 13. Yeah, 15-inch laptop on this guy. So you've got that laptop space at the back. And what I think is also cool is that the camera compartment actually comes out. So if you've got your camera gear in here, you can drop it in ready to go. Or if you just want to use this as a messenger bag, there's a lot of space in there now. Lots of space to hold stuff. And again, I mean, they don't look like camera bags, so even if you just wanted to use it as a messenger bag, it's pretty cool looking.
Which also makes it kind of nice for the the casual shooter or something like that, where you can use it as your everyday bag, but when you want to go shooting, you're good to go, and it's all going to be stored properly.
Yeah, and so this has its own handle, so it's easy to just sort of put your camera gear in here, take it out, put it on a shelf, go out with this, get home, put it back in for next time to go. Inside, you've got a variety of dividers. So again, this is designed to sort of hold one SLR with, two prime lenses and a flash, or one larger lens and a flash. Again, this guy has a little bit more customization because the actual Velcro strips run along the back on both sides. So you can move these left and right. You just can't really do anything diagonally. But it's too small to really accomplish that.
Yeah.
So it's less of a concern with this guy. And then you can stick it all back in. And you've got the same big front pockets here, which have all your spots for pens and all that kind of stuff. So it's a nice update to the bag. I'm just going to pop off screen and grab the old version so you can see the difference. So this is my older, smaller version. And you can see that it just had sort of a National Geographic trim on the inside. And you can see the difference. They were using these sort of leather pockets, and they had individual pockets up front. So now you have one much bigger pocket. This is obviously the smaller one of this, and they do make this guy in this size. We just didn't get one to review. But the smaller one still uses the same large front pocket. So you got a little bit more space there, and the interior compartments are more or less the same, but I really like the maps. The maps look really cool. It's a nice touch. The front pockets are pretty much the same. So the big difference is just sort of the aesthetic stylings. You know, they've gotten rid of, like, that's kind of a useless toggle. I'll occasionally attach my keys to it and something. But these are sort of nicer. They look a little bit more modern. They look a little bit nicer. So I think it's a nice update to the line. My only major criticisms of the bag are, you really, guys, you need to be including this at the price that these bags are. And I'd really love to see the compartments that hold the lenses a little bit more customizable. But if you want, you can check out the link on our site. Go to Amplis's website and find out who the distributors are to hit up any one of the places that order these. You can get them at Henry's Camera. I think Viztech might also carry them, but I don't remember. So there's a variety of places you can get them, and they go anywhere from, I think, about $50 for the smallest one up to about $300 for the large backpack that we checked out. So that's the National Geographic Walkabout series.
Yeah, good series of bags if you're looking to update your camera storage. And that wraps up Behind the Lens for the week.
And that brings us to the end of the show this week. As per usual, if you want to get a hold of us, you can reach us on the Twitters at @almost_Friday.
Or if 140 characters won't quite do, you can always send us an email at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
We're on the Facebook, so you can search in that top bar, The Almost Friday Show. Follow us, like us, and our videos will show up in your feed.
Yeah, you can also comment on our Facebook page if you have any comments, questions, things you want us to review, things like that.
Tell us all the cool footage you shot in 4K with your new Hero Black Edition.
Yeah, and how many you have, and why aren't you using them all right now?
Just attached to you all over the place.
That would be an interesting
your life
way
in every direction.
to do like one of those really almost sad documentaries about life.
Yeah, you could like both sides of your
both
head,
sides of your head,
your shoulders, your front and your back, and you could just this is the world around me all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone's made an app like that just can map all the footage, so you could move around in three-dimensional space.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Ideas. Until next week.